Assalamualaikum Warahmatullahi Wabarakatuh. My brothers and my sisters, in this video I am going to explain the biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam, where I will talk about the second migration to Abyssinia. In the last video we have talked about the first migration to Abyssinia, where we have talked about some people went to the Abyssinia from Makkah. But in this video I am going to talk about the second migration to the Abyssinia. The polytheists were insisted on receiving news about the hospitality and warm welcome accorded to the Muslims in Abyssinia and started meting out even more severe ill-treatment and torture to the Muslims. Thereupon Allah's Messenger permitted the helpless servants of Allah to seek Islam in Abyssinia for a second time. Migration this time was not as easy as it was for the previous time, but for the Quraysh were on the alert to least suspicious moves of the Muslims. In due course, however, the Muslims managed their escape too fast for the Qurayshites to spoil their attempt. The group of immigrants this time comprised 83 men and 19, or in some versions 18 women. Whether or not Ammar was included is still a matter of doubt. The Quraysh could not tolerate the prospect of a secure and safe haven available for the Muslims in Abyssinia, so they dispatched two messengers to request their expulsion. They were Amr bin al-Asa and Abdullah bin Abi Rabah. So before they embraced Islam, they took with them valuable gifts for the king and his clergy, and won over some of the courtiers to their side. The pagan envoys demanded that the Muslim refugees should be expelled from Abyssinia, Ethiopia, and handed over them on the ground that they had abandoned the religion of their forefathers, and their leader was preaching a religion different from theirs and from that of the king. The king summoned the Muslims to the court and asked them to explain the teachings of their religion. So they gathered there, determined to speak the truth before him. He asked them, "What is this religion that has caused you to separate from your people, to not enter my religion or any of others?" Jafar bin Abi Talib stood up and addressed the king in these words: "O king, we were an ignorant people. We worshipped idols and ate the meat of dead carcasses. We were accommodated to lewd behavior, to serving of ties of kinship, neglecting our neighbors, and the strong among us consumed the property of the weak. This is how we were, but then Allah sent a messenger to us. We were aware of his lineage, his truthfulness, that he is trustworthy and chaste. He began inviting us to Allah, that we single him out and that we worship him. So we left the religion of our forefathers that we had followed previously. We left the worship of stones, idols, of all other besides Allah. He also commanded us to be truthful in our speech, fulfill trusts, nature, and the ties of kinship. Be kind to our neighbor and refrain from spilling blood unlawfully. He forbade us from lewd behavior, from obscene speech, from consuming the orphan's wealth, and from slandering chaste women. He commanded that we worship Allah alone without associating anything with Him. He commanded us to perform the prayer, give charity, and fast. And he listed the Islamic injunctions. He continued, "Thus we trusted Him and believed in Him and followed the religion of Allah that He delivered. We began to worship Allah alone. We would not associate anything with Him, and we began prohibiting what He had made unlawful for us, as well as allowing that He had made lawful for us. At this, our people rose as enemies against us, punishing us, torturing us to get us to leave our religion and return to worshipping idols instead of worshipping Allah, and they expected us to consider all filthy things lawful as we previously did. So when they overpowered us, oppressed us, and restricted us, when they came between us and our religion, when we came to our land, we chose you over other besides you, desiring to be your neighbor and hoping that you, O king, will not wrong us." The Nagus said, "Is there anything with you that he had told you from Allah?" Jafar said. The Nagu said, Jafar said yes, and then the Nagu said that, then recite some of it for me. Then he recited opening verses of Surah Maryam, chapter 9, Mary. So wherein is told the story of birth of both John and Jesus Christ, down to the account of Mary having been fed with the food miraculously. Thereupon the king, along with the bishops of his kingdom, was moved to tears that rolled down his cheeks and even wet his beard. He exclaimed, "It seems as if these words and those which were revealed to Jesus are rays of light which have radiated from the same source." Turning to the subdued messengers of Quraysh, he said, "I am afraid I cannot give you back these refugees. They are free to live and worship in my kingdom as they please." The next day, the two messengers went to the king and said that Muhammad and his followers blasphemed against Jesus Christ. The Muslims were summoned again and asked what they thought of Jesus. Jafar again stood up and replied, "We speak about Jesus as we have been taught by our Prophet ﷺ. That is, he is servant of Allah, his messenger, his spirit, and his word breathed into the Virgin Mary." The king replied that they believed the same, turning to the following members of the delegations and to his bishops who got angry. He said that they may fret and fume as they killed, but was nothing more than what Jafar has said about him. He then assured the Muslims of full protection. He returned the gifts the delegations of the Quraysh had brought with them and sent them away. The Muslims lived in Abyssinia undisturbed for a number of years till they left to the Medina. This is a version of narrated by Ibn Ishq, and others mention that Ammar bin al-Was as went to the Negus after the battle of Badr to bring those two views in accord. Others say that the delegation went on two oceans. However, the question and answer session between the Nagus and the Jafar that they say occurred on the second ocean is the same in general content as the narrated here by Ibn Ishq. Then, thus it obvious that the event took place when they first arrived in Abyssinia. So my brothers and my sisters, this is all for this video. Jazakallah Qairah for watching this video. And I seek forgiveness from Allah if I have done any mistakes while explaining the biography of Prophet Muhammad sallallahu alaihi wasallam. Jazakallah Qairah for watching this video, and I will see you in the next video.